Why the audience and are so fascinating with the sci-fi genre? What do people find in this genre different from other ones?
Think people find this genre more interesting than others. I think there's such creative freedom within a genre that is not lived, that we haven't experienced, whether you call it sci-fi or post. For me, I don't think of this as science fiction. I see this as it's sort of crime. It's emotional. It's character. It's fear. It's everything. It's just based in another environment, kind of like we did with June as well. Power plays, but on another planet. And I think we as humans relate to the topics, and yet it's in an environment that we don't know. So it's like it's enough away from us, but yet we relate to it. It's a very good balance.
It's very entertaining, the series, definitely, very addictive. But I think at the same time, you guys put very important themes on the table, like totalitarianism, fascism, you know what I mean? People in power telling lies to their own people, you know what I mean? I love Silo, definitely.
It is, but everything, isn't that sort of where we get our stories from, mirroring reality, constantly. I mean, back medieval days, back before that, it's the same bloody topics, but we do them differently.
Exactly. Very Shakespearean, you know what I mean? Like a tragedy, you know what? Um,
But I
uh,
like, to be honest, that is interesting. But I think for me, what's more interesting is what happens to a group of people that are forced to live underground, right? With 250 years going on, so for them, it's every day. When you start thinking, wait, when the question why starts coming, but it's not like you're in a position of getting a car and driving and seeing and feeling and the vision and your voice not bouncing back because you're in a silo. Like, what happens to the mindset when you
exactly.
realize that there's something else bigger? Like, it'd be such a fuck up, wouldn't it?
How can you tell when a script is good, Rebecca? It's something instinctively. Do you know what I mean? Like being a reader and saying this is a good script, or do you have like a certain structure? You know what I mean?
I think it is a very guttural feeling quite quickly. And also, I think it's very individual. I mean, it's funny, the amount of scripts that I've been sent that probably other actresses have said no to, or scripts that I've read and I think, oh, she took it. I wonder why. And we see things differently because we seek things differently, you know? So for me, I can tell straight away what I like and what I don't like. And it's not a formula. It's the rhythm. And someone can be very good at telling a story, but they're not very good at dialogue, you know?
Exactly. Do you get to like to improvise or having your own ideas? Being right now a producer also on the TV series at the time when you're rolling the scenes.
This is such a collaborative state from the beginning for me. And I know all the writers, and the showrunner, Graham, is on speed dial. Like, he's so close to me. So for me, I have realized what works best so that I can do the job that I need to do. So I read the scripts as soon as they're done, like when they're locked, and the process, and I come with ideas as well. But the writers I leave too. They do their job. They're very good. But then I have to walk her in and feel her. But if I say this here doesn't feel right, and we have dialogue, I do a lot of pre-work before I start filming. So I call the writers and I go through the script and I do all of my changes with them individually. And some of them they agree and some of them they don't agree. And then you get to stick to the actual set. And then Steve Zahn and I have a scene. Now he's doing his stuff differently. So now we have to rehearse and feel. So everything, a script constantly moves and shapes with its environment. The story tells itself, you know? But
Yeah.
then people like Aaron Sorkin, I know, he's very, very adamant to stick to his words. But we're six writers and it's a very different process.
Definitely. The cast is incredible, you know, the rest of the cast, very talented. The last question, Rebecca, how could you describe your journey from the first season to this one of your character? What happened, you know, between this time?
I think the journey is someone who was very comfortable in a certain environment, taken out of it, and thrown into the deep end of something completely different. Lonely. She's a lonely soul, but she hasn't chosen this loneliness. Now she has to survive. But she has to survive by connecting with another human, which she doesn't really know how it works. So she now has to solve problems, but the problem is another human.
The problem
That's
is
another mentality for her.
exactly. Thank you very much for the interview. Nice to talk to you.
Nice to talk to you.